Hi-oh YouTube, my name is Dexter and welcome to this Friday special edition of Dauntless, where I am going to be comparing and contrasting, well I guess mostly just comparing, Monster Hunter and Dauntless, because it's the only thing I can think of that's anything remotely close to the same game. But I will say that I like Dauntless. It is slower paced than Monster Hunter, but at the same time the hunts that you go on are a lot shorter than normal. But a lot of its slowness is, number one, but I mean, it's all by design. The monsters just go slower than monsters do in Monster Hunter, but there's also a lot of stiffness and clunkiness to your controls with the different weapons, but long and short is that it's good. It's really solid. It is a fantastic base that Dauntless has set, but there is a lot of room to improve on. But I'm also a big fan of the monster variety that's in the game. I don't know if I can... Yeah, there's, like, all of these different monsters, except for, like, there's even more that I haven't even fought yet. There's, like, 20 different monsters that I can go fight, which is a pretty decent lineup, honestly. All things considered, it's pretty good. The only problem is that the weaponry in the game is a little lacking. There's only 6 weapons, and I don't remember when the 6th one was added, but I know it was added. I don't want to say really recently, but I don't remember when exactly it was. But basically, it has the same... I don't want to say the same problems. It has the same start. Dauntless has the same start that Monster Hunter did when it first started. Like, Monster Hunter 1... is the same thing, or suffers from the same problems that Dauntless is currently suffering from. And I don't mean to say it's a big problem, but that's what I'm just gonna call it a problem and carry on. And it's pretty small. I wanna go. Let's go fight us a giant beaver thing. And I'm gonna talk about it. A lot of the slowness from the game comes, I think, or a lot of the clunkiness as well, comes from a mechanic that is in Monster Hunter that feels really good in Monster Hunter, but it's not implemented in the same way in Dauntless. What my buddies and I call hit delay is a mechanic where, depending on how hard you hit a monster, your weapon and entire body will freeze for a moment, depending on how hard you hit. The longest hit delay I've ever had, I think, was half a second. Not even. I think it was like a quarter of a second, but it felt like an eternity, and it felt fucking phenomenal. But what it is the harder you hit a monster in an area that your attack is effective against, the more you and the monster will freeze on impact. Or the longer you'll freeze on impact. It doesn't stop the game. It just kind of, you hit the thing, you freeze for a moment, and then you continue on your way. And it feels phenomenal. Dauntless has that, but the problem with it is that it applies on every hit and only applies to you. You're the only one getting stopped by swinging your giant weapon at people. Okay, I don't want to walk off the cliff. Gotcha. And by people, I mean monsters. Only you get stopped by swinging your axe or whatever it is you happen to be using at a monster. But that's the other problem with the game. There's only 6 weapons in the game, and only 2 of them kind of... I know that they're all different, but 2 of them, the 2 that I've used, kind of feel the same in different ways. Kind of feel... or they have the same weight and speed to them. It's just one can cut things and the other one can't. This is the only axe that I have in the game. I've primarily focused on hammers, and I love them. I love hammers to bits. But throwing my axe there feels really good. It's definitely something I can get used to. But the hit delay here, you can't really see it, but I can definitely feel it. Every time I swing at this guy called the Gnasher, I will, depending on how hard I hit him, I freeze up, but he doesn't. And that's kind of what owes to the clunkiness of the game. Also, my range is really short, and I forgot about that. And just some weapons are really slow. Like, the axe and the hammer are slow by design. I understand. That's what they're supposed to be. They're just powerhouses. but I haven't really been enjoying... okay, I don't want to say I haven't been enjoying it, because I have. It's just an odd choice. But much like in Monster Hunter, I can charge up my axe, because the axe and the greatsword are basically the same weapon. But there's only... I guess to make up for the lack of weapon variety, every weapon, or every monster that you fight, and the weapons you make out of them, have different effects. Like, my axe here, I believe, every time I swing at an enemy, I will get a shield, depending on how much damage I did, and that shield will stack indefinitely, as long as I keep dealing damage. If I can keep dealing damage, I can keep getting that shield back, and it feels phenomenal. And I don't think there's any kind of, like, this armor is going to be worse than that armor by the end of the game. I don't think there's any of that in this, so that's pretty nice. There's also a bunch of different armor effects, but they're not in specific skills, I guess I'll call them. It's not like you get 7 points of critical eye and you get 35% bonus critical chance. It's more like my gloves give me, my headpiece and my boots give me 7% increased invulnerability window on my dodges. 7% increased apiece. So it's all numbers instead of just being achieve threshold to get benefit. It's percentages of a effect, I guess, that you already have baseline. I don't think there are any crits in this game. I could be wrong, but I haven't gotten very far at the same time. So that's probably whack. I also know that I can cut off tails. That is something that I am trying to do here. I also really like throwing that axe just feels great. Throwing the axe just feels phenomenal. Hey, look at that. I timed it right. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. But yeah, there we go. Nailed it. Hit him. One thing I do like about my axe, though, is that it gives me super armor. When I'm glowing yellow, not when I'm charging, but in a swing count, I'll just show it here. Depending on how high I charge this, I get super armor, which means I can't be interrupted. Which is another thing that I like more in Dauntless than I do in Monster Hunter. In Dauntless, enemies outside of hitting you can't inflict you with crowd control. Like, there's no interruption outside of just you've been hit by the monster. In Monster Hunter, anything and everything that looks at you funny can interrupt you. Even the act of them staring at you will interrupt you sometimes. But like, monsters in Monster Hunter will roar at you, fly past you at high speeds, or just like take off into the air and cause, like, just like flap their wings and cause gusts of wind to blow you around, or they'll create earthquakes by slamming the ground super hard. And all of those things are really annoying to deal with, and I don't like it, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. Okay, that's not true. There is a lot I can do about each one of them, but I can't do anything about all three of them at the same time. Because in Monster Hunter, there are skills that you can get that give you benefits. Oh yeah, I'm just going to face tank that, no problem. I think I'm swinging at him. No, I missed. Okay. But yeah, Dauntless doesn't have the same kind of crowd control effects that monsters can inflict on you. There are still some, but it's nowhere near as prevalent as it is in Monster Hunter. And I am a big fan of it. I really appreciate it. I just want your tail, big guy. Come on, give me your tail. Gimme, 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 gimme. I know I can cut it off. I've done it a couple times so far, but a couple problems that I have with Dauntless is that the not monster variety, I don't think you can just go out into the field to explore, to go collect some stuff, like ores or herbs or anything else you might want to collect. I'm pretty sure you have to choose a mission to go do it, which I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not very far in this so far. I just am playing it because I want to talk about it, because I like it. I want it to be better. But yeah, it's as it stands right now, Dauntless is pretty phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal's too strong of a word, but it is really good. If you're fixing for a free Monster Hunter on any console, Dauntless will scratch the itch most certainly. But what I was going to say about can't go out in the field to explore, in Monster Hunter you can go on like expeditions or harvest tours or whatever you want to call it, to just go to the different locales and just dick around for up to 50 minutes. There's no overlying objective beyond go get the thing you're after and then leave. But you don't have to leave. You can spend all 50 minutes in the area just doing whatever you want. Excuse me. The other problem... Well, no, again, it's not a problem. The other another thing that Dauntless does that I'm a fan of, that Monster Hunter suffers from, but at the same time, Monster Hunter, it's kind of an older game. An older franchise, rather. A lot of monsters in Monster Hunter are just reskins of previously existing monsters, and even more, use the same skeleton structure. Like, when I say reskins, there are, in the Monster Hunter franchise, there's what they call subspecies, which are just different colored and different variants of previously existing monsters. Case in point, there are four, actually, if you want to count the deviant monsters from Generations, but there are 4 different kinds of Rathalos and Rathian. For the Rathalos, there's the classic red, there's blue, there's silver, and then there's Dread King, which is a deeper red. And I have no idea where this beaver got to. This beaver rat thing got to. The Rathian has the same scenario, where there's the classic green Rathian, then there's a pink Rathian, a gold Rathian, and the Dread Queen, which is purple and green. And they're all essentially the same monster, but they have different color schemes and different elemental weaknesses and different part strengths, and they all have the same base abilities, but what you use to fight them changes between them. I have no idea where this giant beaver got to. How do I lose track of a giant beaver? But another thing that is it's not, I don't want to say it's a problem, but another real thing that happens in Monster Hunter is they reuse a lot of skeletons as well. The 4 that I always go back to talk about skeleton usage, or skeleton recycling, is the Nargacuga, Tigrex, Acantor, and Eucanlos. They all have the same, skeleton structure. They all, I found it, okay. They all more or less do the same thing, or at least I thought I found it, I thought I heard it. No, they don't do the same thing. They all have the same skeleton structure and the same way of moving. But 2 of them are Elder Dragons and can't fly, and the other 2 are variations on I'm going to run you over. Or rather, all 4 of them are variations on I'm going to run you the fuck over. But they all have the same base skeleton, so if they implement one, they can implement all 4 super easy. Dauntless, from what I've seen so far, has only recycled 1 monster called the Shrike. The Shrike is recycled into a thing called the Scave, which is a big... Basically, the Shrike is an owlbear, the Scave is a snowy owlbear. And I really wish I were joking, but that's the only difference between the 2. Oh, well, he's not happy with that. Oh boy, I got some Heart Seekers. Oh, I broke his tooth, that's why he's not happy with me. Okay. But that is one thing I don't like about Dauntless. With the weapon that I'm using here, the axe, I can cut off tails, which, I mean, I was expecting to be able to, but you can cut off teeth as well with axes, or with any bladed weapon. But you can't do it with hammers. You can't break teeth with hammers, which is a really weird change to me. Because in Monster Hunter, the only thing a hammer can't do is cut off a tail. And I've cut off that thing's tail, as I was saying it, which makes me very happy. But yeah, hammers, I guess hammers are just the bruiser crowd control weapon, and I understand that. I understand that's what they're used for. But at the same time, I kind of wish I could, break some teeth. Because it doesn't make any sense to me that I can't use, or it doesn't make any sense to me that I can't use a giant mace, a giant blunt object to break teeth. I know they write it as tusks, but it basically means the same thing. Tusks are just teeth. And have an axe. And it's coming back to me, and I'm going to jump on you. I really like doing that. I don't know if that's come across or not, but that is a fun thing. But this, when monsters turn red, is really the only way they can crowd control you. I don't know what other word to use. I'm just going to use CC. Outside of actually just making contact with you. It's pretty nice. I enjoy it a lot. Wow. Well, that made contact. Sweet. I also like how I can charge this up and move. Whoop. Nope, I didn't roll. I thought I did. I was incorrect. But he's running away from me. But yeah. The monster variety in Dauntless is pretty interesting. I like them. I also like the weapon variety. It's pretty cool. I just like this game. It's fun. There is a lot, like I said at the start, there is a lot of room to improve, but the groundwork it's set has phenomenal potential. It actually, I believe it has the chance to compete with Monster Hunter. If Phoenix Labs just streamlines a couple things, like being able to turn around while swinging my axe, or charging my axe, that'd be great. That'd be phenomenal. Because that's something that Monster Hunter World implemented in with their great swords. You can change the direction your charge swing is going by holding, or just before you let go of it, you can kind of turn around. Or rather, in World, you can change the direction your axe is going to be, your great sword is going to be swinging in during your charge. But yeah, it's got a lot of minor things that it can work on that'll improve the quality of the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it turns into eventually. Because I've been thoroughly enjoying my time with this. So that's really all I've got to say. So I hope this thing dies real quick, because I don't really want to... Ah, cool. I broke something. He's not happy with it. I'm also a big fan of these giant, whatever it is here. Whap. Give it a second here. These kind of, these things. I like these swings. I wish I could do more than just 2 of them in a row, but I like it. I also need to check out what this thing's, or what the axe's, combos are. Woo! Hey, I killed him. And I slap him in the face. So there we go. That's a hunt. That took me a long time. That took me a lot longer than I thought it would, but I guess I did spend a lot of time running around trying to find a, something to, or trying to find it to hit it. But yeah, I enjoy Dauntless. I'm looking forward to see what it might become, what it can become, what it will become, and I hope, it has a long and prosperous life, because even though the Monster Hunter franchise fills a very niche role in the market, in that the genre that it fills is very particular, I really appreciate it, and the more of these games that I can play, the more Monster Hunter style games I can play, the happier I'll be for it. But I'm gonna go. For those of you who are new, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. But if not, carry on your merry way. But for the rest of you ramblers, I will catch you all next week, where we'll probably be back playing more Dauntless. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all on Monday. Peace out, boys. It's been a lot of fun.